Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our podcast series by Math. And today we have a visionary leader who has played a major role in establishing STPIs across India, be it Hyderabad, Bangalore, and many other cities. We are fortunate to have him today with us and would love to hear his insights, his learnings, and his guidance for our startup, for our ecosystem to grow. So today we have Mr. J A Chowdary, who has led multiple STPIs in India, who has also built a startup, and I will say that who was one of the early breed of entrepreneurs from India. Couple of minutes brief of your journey and what are you doing today. If you can give us, all our listeners and viewers about us, that will be of great
Thank you,
interest.
Rahul. I had a great journey. I want to really thank the Almighty for giving that kind of opportunities at every stage, giving a break. Today, whatever I am, only I attribute everything to the Almighty.
Right.
I started my journey with ISRO Satellite Center at
Mhm.
Bangalore. That was my first job. I was in the telemetry division. We used to build telemetry subsystems for Rohini, Aryabhatta, Bhaskara, these satellites. Then after a small stint with ISRO, because I am eldest in my family, all my brothers were studying in Hyderabad. I
Right.
have to come to
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad to work in BHL R&D.
Okay.
And during that time only I got my MTech from IIT Madras.
Wonderful.
And my project in IIT Madras MTech project got the first innovation award, Independence Day Innovation Award. That is the first time that my name got into Hindu newspaper, and also those days.
And that is in which year?
That was in 1985.
Wow.
Yeah, I got that opportunity when getting into that limelight first time. Till such time, I was just any other scientist working for. With that visibility, I got an opportunity to work in Department of Electronics. Today, it's called MIT, Ministry
Okay.
of Information Technology. Those days, it used to be called Department of Electronics
Right.
at New Delhi. So that was a peak license Raj, so 80s, 70s, and all that. So a lot of NRIs used to come to India to do something. Those days, for getting one import license for any electronic item, whether it's a computer or anything, we used to take months together. This thing sometimes 1 year also we used to take because of the constraints of the license Raj ecosystem.
Mhm.
A lot of entrepreneurs, they wanted to do something in IT, but they feel they went back because of that kind of ecosystem for startups. Even other enterprises are also not there. Only big family businesses like conventional businesses like Tata's and Birla's. Barring that, an ordinary people today, suppose if you got some idea, without any business background, you can tell your idea to angel investor. You can fund that idea,
Right.
and you can take it to this. So many such ordinary people today, they have become billionaires.
Right.
Those days, no way that ordinary person can even think of getting into any business or any enterprise, building a kind of a thing. That was the license Raj, and I witnessed that how difficult it was those days for any entrepreneur to survive in the industry. But fortunately, I keep telling we should thank Texas Instruments, which is a silicon chip company based out of US. Why I want to thank them? They are the ones who came to New Delhi, and they requested us. They are very keen to set up a development center outside of US, because they already tested the strength of Indian IT manpower. Particularly, they used to recruit a lot of students from IITs and all the premier institutions from India. Those days, in fact, today's IT industry, those days we used to call body shopping industry. They used to go to the institutions and
Right. Right.
recruit them and place them in some companies. So in that process, this Texas Instruments, they have already seen the capability of our premier institutions, the students coming from India. They saw the advantage. So if only we go to India and set up a development center, probably we can beat our competition We will have access to the manpower at the
Right.
same time, very low cost of operations. That's the reason why they came and approached us. Then it was very difficult for government to agree to their terms. They said now several departments are there to give the approvals. Whether those days to even to export, suppose you develop some software to export it today, just on email on the internet, you can send it. Those
Right.
days they have to take a floppy disk, they have to send it to RBI, get all the papers to be processed with RBI. Then afterwards only they have to send it after verifying all. It used to take a lot of time and this thing. So they said we can't do any of those things, and we need instantaneous approval for our exports as well as any imports. Also within 24 hours, we need yes or no kind of this thing. And like that, they asked some 10 requirements. And those days, there's no internet in the country. They said unless we are both the US office and the India office are connected through the high-speed communication link, we cannot again survive. So they requested to have a dedicated satellite earth station to be set up in their facility wherever. Then it was very difficult for government those days to think about creating a single window, truly single window mechanism. Today that we're talking about ease of doing business and all that. Those days, during the peak license Raj, our Prime Minister, late Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. They allowed the Texas Instruments as an experiment. Okay, for Texas Instrument, we'll create a software technology park kind of a entity. There's no entity on the paper.
Right.
It was all because it's an experiment. Experiment may fail or may succeed. Nobody knew.
Right.
And with great difficulty, other departments agreed because Prime Minister was
pushing it.
He saw that this will create a lot of opportunities for India. Particularly those days, there were no jobs. All my classmates in IIT Madras, most of them they went to US because there were no jobs in India. So he saw that if we are able to succeed in this, bringing one multinational company like TI, they are successful, we can bring many more such companies, and all our people can, instead of asking them to go, the so-called brain drain, they used to call all our good quality brains used to get drained in other countries. Instead of that, we can create the opportunities for those people. Then he pushed that let this experiment be on. Then afterwards we'll see. That's how the STPI got initiated for only one company on a trial basis. That's for a Texas Instrument. That is the beginning of STPI. Today, whatever we are seeing, all the $1 trillion economy, so many millions of families are getting benefited. Not only IT industry, take Hyderabad for example. Because of IT industry, real estate people got benefited, hospital people got benefited, then healthcare, the entertainment people got benefited, then catering people got benefited, security companies. So many, one IT job created minimum 5 jobs in the ecosystem. And that's the same thing happened in other IT metropolis, either in Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Gurgaon, all these places.
So fast forward, like what is keeping you busy nowadays?
See, nowadays, I feel that not that I knew that AI is going to come and take away the jobs and all that. Even during when I was at the government, I used to tell a lot of people who used to do the IT services, you are doing billions of dollar business. Why don't you start a product company so that, like Microsoft and some of those companies, why can't we create? But no, sir, it is IT services is very easy, whereas products is very risky. So we don't have manpower for that this thing. But I had that some kind of this thing. I should get an opportunity to become an entrepreneur in the product startup. But being in the government, this thing, those doors were not open for me. But fortunately, when I resigned from the government, I took voluntary retirement after the high-tech city got inaugurated by late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in the year 1998. Then 1999, we started a company called PortalPlayer with my friends in USA, because I was very fascinated to get into that. I was very fortunate that my friends called me that can you join? We're starting a silicon chip startup. It was not my idea. They called, asked me because they have got only limited money, angel money. With that angel money, they cannot have too many manpower. This thing.
Right.
So unless there is a India component that startup cannot survive, they requested me to join the founding team. That's how I jumped at that this thing. Then
And this is the company which got acquired by NVIDIA
yeah,
later
you're
on.
right. That is the company PortalPlayer. We used to supply silicon chips to Apple iPod. Then
Right.
we took the company public in Nasdaq and got acquired by NVIDIA.
And then
So
a
that's
series
where
of
my startup journey started.
and then series of startups happened after that. So again, coming back to my previous question, like what is keeping you busy nowadays? Like I understand there is one summit in Dallas that you are planning, but apart from that, ISF and all these things, if you can give some insights, like what makes you wake up from the bed every day nowadays?
Yeah, India has got so much of potential. If you take before Britishers came to India, East India Company came to India. India was good in. I mean, many products came out of it, including Zero was invented by Indians and all that. But during British rule, they suppressed all our creative capabilities and all that. So when I saw the opportunity that yes, after my two successful startups, I think we have to rebuild India, not just providing services to some companies.
Right.
Why can't we create our own product companies, our own IP companies? That's when I started this international startup foundation.
Right.
I want to create that ecosystem.
And what this does, ISF, if you can tell us, our viewers, about ISF.
So basically, today's startups requires three things, three M's.
Okay.
First M is mentoring.
Right.
Many startups, they don't know what they're doing. Unless you attach him to a mentor, they'll not be able to take them to the right direction. The first M is mentoring. Second M, when a patient is in the ICU, what he requires is oxygen. So money at the early stage is very much required. So we created ISF Angels. Second M is money. And I have seen most of the startups having money, having a product, still they're failures because they don't have paid customers. So market access is the most important thing. Unless some networking people, the mentoring, the mentors and all that to help him connect to the markets so that he gets the revenue from the market access. So these three are the main focus for ISF. We connect them to mentors. We also connect them to the investors. We also connect them to the right kind of people who can.
And how many startups are engaged with you now in ISF?
In ISF, so far we invested in about nearly 60, 70 startups.
Wonderful.
Through the not only ISF Angels, even other people also we enabled that.
And you have another venture called Succeed also along with that.
Yeah, Succeed is a SEBI approved VC firm,
right.
Category 1 AF1.
Right.
So there also we invested about nearly 70 odd startups. Company, early stage startups.
Okay. So coming back to AI, now everyone around the world is going gaga over AI. You have seen the journey of how technology has evolved, how software development and software lifecycle, everything has evolved within India, outside India, across the spectrum. What is your take on AI's effect in today's industry and how you look it is affecting our common people in terms of their day-to-day life and also in terms of their job, education, everything? So if you can give us your perspective about AI and its impact on socio-economical situation in the country and how you see that it will help us or what we need to do to be better prepared.
See, Rahul, any technology is like a double-edged knife.
Right.
We can cut the vegetables with that, or we can also cut the necks of the people. So, any new technology, for example, today people are talking about AI and all that, generative AI. Definitely, this is going to enhance the productivity and instead of suppose a company X is doing X number of jobs in a year, instead of doing X number of jobs because of increasing the productivity, he may pick up 100x time. In fact, I was talking to one media company who produced Bahubali kind of movies. He said the kind of time that we have taken to build that visual effects and all that this thing, at a 100th time, we can do it at 1,000th cost. So that kind of productivity gains are going to happen because of the AI and whatever the generative AI and all those new technologies which are coming into the market. Another thing is nobody can stop the technology.
Right.
Technologies today AI, tomorrow something else. So one has to be prepared. That kind of all these years, because a lot of people keep telling, no, every technology transition, like when banks got into computerization of the banks, people thought people will lose jobs, but
Right.
actually it created more jobs. A lot of people still argue that AI will create a lot of new jobs. Somehow, based on my whatever study and all that, it will create some jobs, but many jobs are routine jobs are going to be eliminated because of the AI intervention. All the jobs like what accountants are doing, what testing kind of people, what regular programming, all the jobs can be done easily by whatever the tools which are coming into the market. And also the another thing what I noticed is most of our engineering colleges, because of the IT services industry last 3 decades, they removed mechanical, they removed civil engineering, they removed all other domain branches. They have today only computer science and computer science variants. Computer science today it has become like a screwdriver, like a tool, without domain knowledge, without deep mathematics knowledge, where they have to build the new algorithms and all that thing. That kind of manpower is not coming out of the engineering college. It's not their fault, because parents were pushing, no, my son or daughter has to be only in computer. We don't want mechanical seat and all that. So they removed those faculties and all that. Today, I see that is a big problem for a country of our size with 1.4 billion population. If new jobs are we are not able to create, and existing jobs are going to be, many people are likely to lose the existing job. So how country can take care of the unemployment problem is a very big thing, which I am really I keep thinking about the next 2 years, the transition period, how we are going to manage that kind of unrest, just because we are not able to provide enough jobs to our people. Because wherever I listen, one company he was telling, he built a product, services company. He built a product for one customer, and he took about 35 people, 6 months effort, and he has delivered that. He says the same thing he can do it in 2 minutes by prompting to a tool, and he has already produced that. And he says that is a better product than the one which is delivered to a customer. He says, maintenance point of view, this I myself can maintain. I don't have to depend on some of the engineers who are working on the project and all that. That is the kind of people who are already implementing in India. So these tool companies, every 3 months, every 6 months, now Trump has announced there is going to be $500 billion investment by all those people. So obviously they will come out with new tools in every domain area. There will be AI agents are going to come. Instead of recruiting people, they may start recruiting AI agents.
Right.
So I'm a little worried, Rahul, to be very frank with you. Though I've been thinking about it, what is that we need to do? What is that we need to do? Till I don't have a clear answer. How do we address in the next 2 to 3 years? I mean, that problem of unemployment. How do we replace? How do we create new jobs? Though I mean, I'm promoting the startups and all that. Eventually, they will also create some jobs, but each average, most of the startups, not more than 100 employees. 100 itself is a big number.
Right.
So, but how do we, whereas if you take a services company, any small services company also, they have got thousands of employees working.
But that is a problem which happened in the 90s, and you have seen that journey, that when early computers were introduced across the world, or even in India, there were people who were worrying that people will lose job, many people, and probably in certain sectors they lost jobs also because of computer. But today, when we look at it, or even after 10 years, early 2000, people realize the usage and helpfulness of computers, and it actually took us as a mankind one step forward. So don't you think similar this unemployment fear, it is very momentary, and probably after 5 years it will act as a positive thing or positive towards our growth.
Possible, but I'm not getting convinced because about 30-40 years back,
Right.
number of institutions, when I studied in IIT Madras, only 4 IITs used to be there. Number of colleges itself was very, very
Less.
small in number. And they had all kinds of branches. Take any engineering,
Right.
this thing, agriculture, mechanical, civil, all job. In the last 3 decades, I mean, everybody is either mechanical engineer left his job because ERP wave, this thing, they all, whatever they were doing in the pharma industry or
So everybody
industrial
jumped into
engineering,
the
they
bandwagon.
all
Yeah.
jumped into the IT, this thing. They lost their domain knowledge. They were only know what is some programming and all that, this thing. And that knowledge is not relevant in today's this thing, whatever the new jobs, which the tools, suppose if you have to build a new AI tool,
Right.
you require different knowledge altogether. You require a deep mathematics knowledge. I mean, I don't think our manpower, except barring premier institutions like IITs and all that, rest of the engineering colleges, whatever the training we have been providing to them, I don't think that knowledge is sufficient for them to learn those things. And particularly, most of the engineering colleges, they are not providing experiential learning, just a theoretical learning. With that, I mean, I doubt whether, even though there is a job
Right.
for him, you will not be eligible to work on that job. If he is not eligible, he will not get a job.
So
So
there is
that's my worry.
That's an opportunity for an entrepreneur who is listening to this, that how to bridge this gap.
Absolutely.
Right.
Every problem is an opportunity for a startup entrepreneur. People
Right.
like you have to think of starting one
Yeah.
more enterprise to address this problem.
Address this problem, and I think someone or the other will definitely pick it up.
Yes.
But coming back to then another couple of days, we have the AI healthcare summit that we are conducting from Math within T Hub. You are also joining there. So when we are doing our research and we also seeing, plus when I built my startups, I was using AI majorly in healthcare. And we see that across the world today, healthcare is one industry or one domain where adoption is maximum. Definitely, there are insurance and banking sectors which are the leaders, but still in healthcare also there are a lot of scope, a lot of work is happening. Healthcare is a long cycle, so it might take time, but at least a lot of people are trying it out. How are you seeing AI revolutionizing the healthcare spectrum and adoption in India particularly? And what is your lookout towards this?
I think definitely AI made a significant progress in the healthcare.
Right.
Even that Stargate, where Trump announced the $500 billion.
Correct.
The main application, all of them were talking about, again in the healthcare.
Healthcare domain, yeah.
They want to actually provide cost-effective healthcare for even common citizen using
Right.
the technology.
Right.
See, there is a advantage even today, Rahul. I come from a very small village. Most of our villagers, this thing, they go to local RMP doctor for anything. That RMP doctor, because he has got some links with corporate hospitals and all that, this thing, whether it is required or not, he will refer them. They come along with the family and get admitted, and I don't know what's all happening. By the time the patient dies or patient comes out of the hospital, the entire family is becoming like almost beggars. They are selling all their properties, all that, this thing. With the technology, that's where I see with the AI and with the technology, if you can democratize quality healthcare and creating AI doctors in the village with all the knowledge built into that agentification of the AI agents, by training the those models with the relevant general medicine or orthopedics or pediatrician, this thing, so that in the local language, today it's all available. I mean, technology is available. People can talk to the AI agent in Telugu or English or Hindi or whatever. This thing, suppose if I am a patient in a village, instead of going to RMP doctor, I am able to speak to that agent on my mobile. I have got this problem, I have got this symptoms, and if it can give the, this is the protocol, this is the this thing which is vetted by group of doctors somewhere, like whatever you built earlier, those
Right.
doctors who are on the agent, they can provide that this thing, and you will get the what medicines, what protocol, what tests have to be this thing. Then if required, they will also tell that, okay, better you go to authorized hospital nearby, get some of this, depending on the severity, instead of going to some quacks and people who do not have the real knowledge about this thing. Whereas here, the AI agent, in fact, the way software is getting built, even a critical cancer, this thing also is able to predict much better than the radiologists.
Right.
That's the kind of thing which is already available. Yeah, AI doctors, in fact, I was
Right.
told a lot of patients in US, they want AI doctor rather than a radiology doctor to predict this, whether the cancer cells are already there in the body or not in the body.
Right.
AI doctors are predicting much better. So if we are able to create that kind of a AI technology and democratize this thing, I think Indian population will be very, very useful for them. That is what is required. Both on education front, we have to democratize quality education to everybody in the country.
And
We have to
healthcare.
democratize healthcare at the nook and corner. That's possible with the technology. That's going to be greatest benefit of whatever the new developments are happening in the AI.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. Exactly when you're talking about radiologists, my company, we were building a lot of solutions where radiologists were working. So what we always say is that this AI doctor will help radiologists to make their life better.
Correct.
And even to build that platform also, there are dozens of radiologists who were working with my team, and we were building that, labeling, annotating, and those kind of things. But yeah,
Those are the opportunities.
right.
Country of our size, where majority of the poor people, they still in the live in the rural areas, with the technology, immense benefits they will be able to get.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, healthcare being a long cycle product, it takes time. But I
Yeah.
think when it comes, it will have immense benefit.
Absolutely.
So coming back to the fact, like we have covered your journey, we have understood like what is your vision today with ISF, what kind of impact you are creating to hundreds of startups by investing, and definitely more than that to the people you are interacting with. We also got to know about your thought process around AI's growth, its impact on healthcare. Now, if I have to ask, like, what will excite Mr. Jay Chaudhary in 2025? So we are sitting in January today. In next 11 months, what is that your plans are to do in this year?
Rahul, my plans are, we have a lot of potential in India.
Right.
Even if you go to remotest village, because today education is literally getting democratized, because they are also watching the YouTube videos, lecture series from XYZ, either IIT professors or somebody. The same internet is available to the people who are living in California or developed countries.
Right.
So with that, I mean, my prediction is, if we are able to channelize the energies and provide the right kind of tools, and the entire country. See, earlier when we were studying in the school, whatever teacher says, that's end of it. I mean, if teacher is not good, we will not be. Whereas today, the dependence on the teacher, dependence on the local school, whether they have library or not, this is removed. Everything is there on the YouTube. I mean, if the student is interested
Right.
in
True.
going and learning in local language, on this thing in Telugu or Bengali, I mean,
Yeah.
they can learn anything. Only thing is, few mentors have to properly guide them. This thing, and keeping that this thing in the 2025, I see that many of our Indians, they will figure out to come out with the right kind of education, and they'll figure out coming out with the right kind of products. This thing, India. See, AI without data, AI startups cannot survive.
True.
Which are the two countries where the data is available?
India,
China
China.
and India.
Yeah.
And China, people cannot go to China for various reasons.
Right.
Whereas anybody can come to India, and if only we have the data lakes available. For example, what you are providing for your
Right.
startups, all the government PSU data, that is a very, very rich information which you are providing to your startups. That is not possible in other countries. I see lot of startups, I think beginning of this 2025, taking advantage of our manpower, quality manpower, available of the data lakes, access. Governments like Telangana government providing the GPU power and other this thing. Definitely, I see more AI startups to not only survive, but they will also succeed, create more jobs and more wealth for the nation.
Wonderful. I think that gives us a very holistic perspective, and this discussion can actually continue for a couple of days, if not couple of hours. And we are all excited to welcome you during the Healthcare Summit also. So, sir, with this, we'll end this discussion today. Thanks a lot for your time, and
I
we'll
request you to come for our AA summit in Dallas,
yeah,
May 29th and 30th. We have a very big event. Why we are creating these summits outside India? Most of the startups is like a frog in a well. They are limited by those contacts within Hyderabad, within this thing. Unless you take them, expose them to the international market. That's the reason why ISF is running those conferences outside India. Next
right.
year we are planning one similar one in Australia, Melbourne. Like that, we are going to take our startups to get the global exposure. So you are welcome to attend our conference.
Sure, absolutely. And is this conference majorly targeting towards any particular sector of startups or across the spectrum?
It's a summit.
Okay.
There are five verticals were chosen. Supply
Healthcare.
chain vertical is one, healthcare vertical is one, fintech is one, edutech is one, and one agri and food technology.
Okay.
These are the verticals we have chosen. In that, we'll be running the round tables, this thing, inviting the. Plus, we'll also plan to have the exhibition. All these startups from India, they can exhibit their products and services in that this thing. Because a lot of networking can happen. Most of the conferences are not Bhashan giving conferences.
Right.
They're all networking conferences. If somebody has got some idea and he has to meet the other mentor or possible customers and all that, this thing, so that they make a business contacts or this thing. Those are the things which are going to happen through our ISF conferences.
Wonderful. Great. I think not only us, many of our startups will also be excited to
Please,
join that.
we invite
And
all your AI startups to
wonderful.
participate
We'll
in our
definitely
AI summit.
encourage everyone to
Dallas.
join that. But with that coming into this discussion, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
And I hope that our ecosystem and all the stakeholders continue to learn from you, because we all look up to you. And it's a great privilege to have you today here. So thank you, sir.
I really
Thanks
want to
for your
thank
time.
you, Rahul, for creating such a big ecosystem of helping the startups at scale. And I was told that your ecosystem has got large number of AI startups in your
Yeah.
ecosystem. I really congratulate Math
Thank you, sir.
facility.
Thank you.
I mean, your leadership for making that to happen.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening. And please like, share, and comment our podcast, and continue with us for more such exciting and informative videos. Thank you.